Hi, this is Gail Fry, and I'm going to be presenting for the Wichita School Board Religions in School. The relationship between religion and government in the United States is governed by the First Amendment. Section 852 of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 requires the Secretary to issue state guidance to state educational agencies, local agencies, and the public on prayer protected by the Constitution in public schools. As a condition, ESEA and LEA have to certify in writing to its SEA that it has no policy that prevents or denies participation in unconstitutionally protected prayer in public schools, as detailed in this updated guidance. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held that the First Amendment enforces public school officials to show no partial or non-partial against religious expression such as prayer. Applying the governing constitutional principles related to prayer during non-instructional time, students may pray when not participating in school activities or instruction. Organized prayer groups activities, students may put together prayer and/or religious groups before school, just as other non-curricular activities are permitted. Teachers, administrators, and other school employees, when acting in their official occupation as representatives of the state, teachers, administrators, and other employees are not allowed by the First Amendment to encourage or discourage prayer or to participate in any such activities with students. Moment of silence. If schools decide to take a moment of silence, students are free to pray in silence or not to pray. Accommodations of prayer during instruction. Schools may dismiss students to off-premise religious instruction. However, the school cannot encourage or discourage this. Prayer in class assignments. Students are free to express their beliefs about religion in their schoolwork and feel free from discrimination. Student assemblies and non-curricular events. Student speakers may not be selected based on their religious perspectives. Prayer at graduation. School officials may not mandate or organize prayer at graduation. Baccalaureate ceremonies. School officials may not mandate or organize religious ceremonies. Since the 1960s, the Supreme Court continues to push forward when it comes to religion, from banning Bible and religious instruction in 1963 to stopping school-sponsored prayers at high school football games in 2000. In these decisions, the court continues to say that the Constitution prohibits public schools from indoctrinating students in religion. These issues are complicated because the First Amendment also protects freedom of speech. The rights of students to be able to engage in religious talk or activities on school grounds may be a conflict of other rights of students, such as the right of a student to avoid harassment. However, the most controversial religious issue that remains is the issue of prayer in the classroom. Although courts have given some latitude when it comes to the moments of silence, they have been much more uncompromising when it comes to actual prayer. School officials and student speech. Courts have been very particular when it comes to an official religious speech by a clergyman versus a private religious speech by a student. The Supreme Court in the case Lee versus Wiseman made it clear that a clergyman delivering a religious speech at a ceremony would be a violation between separation of church and state. Judges in federal courts differ on if a student delivered religious messages are a violation. Parent rights. Parents sometimes believe that secular practices at school impede their right to teach religion to children. The Supreme Court upholds the right for parents to control the education of their child. This allows for children to opt out of certain activities due to religion or because of religion. Rights of teachers and administrators. Public school employees have rights to free expression of religion when not at a place of employment. However, while working, their rights are constrained by the Establishment Clause. Most districts allow teachers to wear religious clothing or jewelry. When asked by a student if they celebrate different holidays, a teacher may honestly answer. In general, public schools have the discretion to regulate the religious expression of teachers. USD 259 School Board Policies on Religion. All of the policies are regulated by the administration. Administration and teachers need to be aware and sensitive to the diversity and customs and beliefs of children in schools and communities. Activities should be provided which emphasize mutual understanding, acceptance, and brotherhood among all ethnic, racial, and religious elements of the human family. School programs presented during the holiday season should be presenting culture rather than sacred emphasis. They should not be devotional or have worship activities. Use of sacred writings and/or prayer or devotional exercises during a school program is prohibited. Distribution of religious materials for promotional purposes shall not be made for students on school premises. Posters or announcements concerning religious activities may be placed on bulletin boards or in other locations with principal approval. An invocation, benediction, or other religious observance should not be included in any part of graduation ceremonies that are held by the school district. Reflectively evaluate, communicate about, and implement laws, rights, policies, and regulations to promote student and adult success and well-being. Standard correlation. As I was completing this assignment, I wanted to make sure while presenting that I was non-biased and that I was stating facts, not opinions. I evaluated the articles and stated the legal, ethical, and equity issues pertaining to religion in public schools. Relevant. This assignment improved my understanding of legal issues pertaining to religion in public education. There are many factors, but overall it is plain and simple as stated by the First Amendment. As a teacher, you need to make sure not to discuss your religious views and values or try and use them in class. This is something I have always stayed away from with my students. Even when asked by my students, I do not engage in these conversations. Reflection. I will continue with my current practices, knowing that church and state are separate. As a school leader in the future, I think this is something that all staff should be made aware of at the beginning of each year and included in our training at the beginning of the year as a reminder. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.